The UFC will reportedly do everything in their power to get a Netflix deal. I think I read this before. Once their contract with ESPN expires at the end of the year, UFC is allegedly having issues with ESPN's technology. Well, ESPN isn't happy with pay-per-view numbers being way down. I've always said it, Dana White will just kind of say and trash people on his way out. He's kind of done it. He did it with like EA Sports, and then he ends up making a game with them. So it is what it is. So that aside, don't pay that any mind, but told ya. Right, guys? Phil, don't miss. I told you guys, UFC, everything TKO is going to go Netflix. Negflix be. It's just where it's headed. And Netflix also said, which I may have bookmarked in WWE news, but I'll just speak it now and reiterate it later, I suppose. They're planning on spending $18 billion next year on content, or this year, whatever. The UFC's TV deal's up at the end of this year. Just pay attention to these little nuggets that I'm dropping. I don't know if anyone else is dropping these, but I'm telling you guys, you add these little puzzle pieces up, and yeah, they're gonna spend a fuckload of money for UFC. The pay-per-view model is pretty much donezo. Dave Meltzer said as such, and we're going to see what he had to say later on, the tail end here. But yeah, dude, it's all going to Netflix, and we're going to see tons of crossovers, like way more. Speaking of crossover, Tom Pestock, Bishop Dyer, Baron Corbin. How's my black eye now? Gold at Pans. So again, a purple belt. The 2025 Pants, he keeps winning medals, and he's doing significantly well at jiu-jitsu, especially as a purple belt. So I guess he's entering these tournaments, and this is, I think, his second gold medal. So that's awesome. So let's move along over here to Gabe Kidd Brav. So he's going to be at Bloodsport 13 along with Pete Dunne, Natty Neidhart. Who else is announced for this thing? Others that I'm forgetting that we've covered on the show that I apologize that I'm now forgetting. But Gabe Kidd Brav is another one. I don't even think he really sounds like that, but that's awesome. This is so well suited for him and his style. Homicide, the longtime legend, he got some medical update. Legend of like the indie scene, he got some medical update, I guess, and I don't think I don't want to misspeak as well. Yeah, his speech and his vision are bad, so he has to retire from pro wrestling. Unfortunately, that's the risk you take, when you get into this. He says, can't believe I'm saying goodbye. Not only a job, the passion, the sport of pro wrestling, myself and Bull James versus Mike Santana, and I hate everyone. Alpha Jr. Reason I'm leaving because I went to my doctor and found cyst in my brain. Had it for months, getting worse. My vision, speech is bad because the hard hitting, getting knocked out and hitting a plane to travel. Oh, man. Oh, it's so sad, dude. March 20, Outlaw Wrestling means a lot. I want people to party and smile, except for Alpha Jr. I'm a survivor. I always win battles. Bottom of my heart. Thank you for your support. This is not a goodbye. This I see you later. Latin Terror, Homicide, 187 Sweatbox. One. Yeah, dude. Shout out Homicide, man. And I don't know when his last match is. It may have already taken place March 20th. Yeah, so 2 days ago. Our best wishes his way in that. Round of applause. He's a fight. So Jonathan Gresham is going to be at Bloodsport as well, dude. So just a stacked card. You guys got to check this out. And Gresham, this is where he's going to thrive. I love Jonathan Gresham. I'm one of the people who stands and pushes for this guy, I think, the hardest, as far as like he should be somewhere prominent. People are like, his size don't matter because when you like his frame, he's stocky and he can do all the, like he can really wrestle. Like he can actually stretch dudes is the thing. No Diddy, right? But he can actually stretch and he can do all this. Like if you want to flip around, he can do that. If you want to wrestle technically, you want to do the character stuff he showed with the octopus. It just never really got the push it should have. And I get it. There's so many gimmicks where people are like spitting ink and, losing their minds and going crazy and emo. But Gresham's that dude. He's really that dude. I think we have a video of him later. It might be in here. Karrion Kross as well. That's another one. Bloodsport 13, Karrion Kross. I mean, come on, dude. So, like, just think of the names. Natty, Karrion, Pete Dunne, Jonathan Gresham. Who did we go over before as well? I don't know if Josh is on this one, Josh Alexander. Just stacked, ridiculously stacked. You want to watch this show. And this is what I mean, man. Some of these guys get these matches in Vegas around Mania. It's a way to keep them happy. I don't know. Husey doesn't think so, but I don't. I like to say that it might keep some people happy. I don't know. Eric Bischoff announces he's officially done in the wrestling business after 38 years. So I wonder, does this mean no more like MLW one shots or whatever? And he says, I realize now that there's nothing I could do in professional wrestling and that's ever going to bring me fulfillment. I'm dyslexic. And it's just not, because I've done it and I'm proud of what I've done. I just don't have that desire to focus on that business any longer for Vince or anybody else. I'm just not that interested to commit that much to that industry. What was he asked? This just seems like a random quote. When him and Conrad get jabbering when he's chatting Conrad up, and he's like, oh, come on now, Eric, that's not very fair to just gibber and jabber when I asked you a simple question. No. As much as I respect it and I'm grateful for it, that period of my life is in the rearview mirror, and I enjoy every time I look in the rearview mirror and see it. So is 83 weeks done? Is he quitting his pods? Is he not talking about wrestling anymore? Is he not doing retrospectives? Is he not tweeting about current AEW product or Dave Meltzer? Is he not going to do MLW? These are the questions we don't have answers. I'm marking out over here like we need answers. That being said, yeah, some people are clowning him. They're like, oh, AEW is about to surpass Nitro. And it just proves the point that I say on this show that no one else says. Everyone says it after, when it's like, okay, now it's so obvious. I'm always the first. Okay, listen to me. They're battling with dead companies, bro. Tony's in the Vern Gagne and all these guys. You know, I have more money than them. Ted Turner. He's talking about all these past. He can't get the past stuff out of his head. I just can't get you out of my head. But listen, he is battling it out, and Dave Meltzer stooges that through his rhetoric as well, because you know him and Tony Khan are texting. They're trying to duke it out with WCW, and it's so dumb, bro. You're trying to compete with that's dead. People are like, it's ECW. ECW died. So let's be very clear about this, okay? They need to focus on themselves and the future and the now and what's relevant. I think I'm going to give AEW credit. I think they're doing a little more of that. I think they are. A little too much, right? Maybe locked in a little too much, where sometimes it's like, whoa, you guys just dropped Rizzler plushes, and then Moxley impaled himself. So what is our objective here, you know? That sort of thing. Yeah, I love 83 weeks. I hope it doesn't go anywhere. And if we're going to use the metric, and we're going to talk about that a little later with Dave Meltzer, but if we're going to start talking about, oh, it outlasted Nitro, and well, then Ring of Honor, CMLL, TNA, Impact has had more episodes than Nitro, so, or at Dynamite. So what are we talking about here? You know, it's just a foolish, dumb. It's like, who gives a if that's the case? But they just want to stick it to Bischoff. When it's like, why is your battles with, they're just old, hateful podcasters. They're just grifter podcasters. Okay, then why do you give up to where this is like, well, Dave's like, they'll never beat WWE, but I mean, they're the second best, Bischoff, Dutch Mantel. Like, they're so interested in like sticking it to dudes who've just been there and done that, and Cornette. So shout out Bischoff. I hope he sticks around in some capacity. Here we go. This is just hilarious here from Vince Russo, and particularly Al Snow, some of his infamous one-liner jokes that he's picked up over the years.
You know what, Jessica asked me just a minute ago where I would go. If I could go anywhere on earth, where would I want to go? I said the moon. She just stared at me.
I also saw that you yelled.
Said what?
Where I want to go, I said the moon. She just stared at me.
I also saw that you yelled to her in the other room to bring you some wet wipes.
Yeah, I was in the kitchen the other night. I made a mess, and I was like, "Hey, sweetheart, do we have any wet wipes?" And she was in the living room. She's like, "Come again?" I said, "No, it's barbecue sauce."
That's gross, Al.
Oh, that's gross, Al. My Chris, bro. That's not about wrestling, bro. Oh, that's gross, bro. Really, I'm a good. I don't even know what cum is, bro. In fact, I've never even had barbecue sauce. MLW has to move to a larger venue, so Battle Riot is moving to, let me see this, all tickets purchased for the originally scheduled venue at Commerce Casino will be honored at the new venue. So shout them out, blowing up bigger and bigger. All wrestling is blowing up right now. So last show, a wrestler passed away in the ring. We talked about that. And this now a student had just dropped, boom, and passed on again. Sammy Callahan says, I'm beyond devastated and emotionally spent. Last night, one of our students collapsed in the ring at an indie show. So this is at a show as well, and passed away unexpectedly. Graham is one of the most genuine and kind-hearted people around. Tell your friends and family how much you love them, RIP. Again, just tragic. And it's incredibly unfortunate. I'm entirely unfamiliar with this gentleman. Of course, he was just learning how to wrestle, working indies. And yeah, prayers to him and his family. I mean, I don't know what else to say. We're going to debut Becca's new single here on PWT. Not that she asked us to. So here's Ben Bishop taking on Nick Nemeth here. And go and check out my interview with Big Trouble Ben Bishop. Hilarious.
Shouldn't have called the move out, dummy.
Shouldn't have called the move out, dummy. Gotta love that shit. But yeah, getting the rub from Nemeth there, and you notice too, like even though they're using the phone cameras, like the phone on the selfie stick or whatever, Nemeth's still working the camera and just a profession. You know what I mean? Like that's the EXP that Big Trouble's getting being in the ring with a guy like Nemeth, even at that level. You know, it's so good. What Nemeth is doing is so good for the business, you know, akin to what Cody Rhodes and Cardona did. So debuting here, Becca Forever, her latest music video, ladies and gentlemen, called Dick Holus. Let's go. Becca in this.
Dick Holus.
P3CCA.
Your mustache is ugly, bro. Your mustache is ugly, bro. You ain't got any hoes. Your mustache is ugly, bro.
What you say about yourself is that you're marketable. What I hear about you is that you get no hoes. All the girls love me, cause I'm Becca with a 3. And I'm silly, and I'm witty, and I'm pretty like a Barbie. You flaunt it like you got it, but I think you're a fraud.
This is also a diss track to this marketable something. I forget his name, wrestler. We got Nikita Lyons has a diss track as well. So we'll compare them throughout the evening. But our girl B3CCA, BECCA with a 3 because she's cool. That's our girl, man. So I don't know. Nikita's going to come with heat. Becca's dropping heat. Nikita's going to have to come with some heat, dude. Okay? Becca's spitting here. Listen.
You should go back to being the AirPod god. If you're out with a girl, she ain't got any standards. You think you're Magnum PI, but you're really Ned Flanders. I heard you sell coffee, and I think that's really fitting. Your teeth are really yellow, and you smell like you be shitting. You wrestle like it too, stinking up the ring. I know I got you jealous with my hot girl bling, and my hot girl swag, and my hot G-string, and my Gucci bag. I ain't gotta pop tags, cleaning up your blood with my Versace rags. Cause I'm Becca with a 3, all the girls love me. Cause I'm silly and I'm witty and I'm pretty like a Barbie. Period.
Period. Okay, guys? Becca in this bitch. Let's go. Chat, you feeling this or what?
Your mustache is ugly, bro. Your mustache is ugly, bro. You ain't got any hoes. Your mustache is ugly, bro.
What you say about yourself is that you're marketable. What I hear about you is that you get no hoes. All the girls love me, cause I'm Becca with a 3. And I'm silly and I'm witty, pretty like a Barbie.
Yeah. I'm gonna take your title.
I'm gonna take your title. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for BCCA with a 3 because she's cool. Let's go. Where's my clap? Here we go. And that was miscellaneous news, ladies and gentlemen. Let's head on over to TNA news here. Speaking of bars, we have man like Darius here rapping his way to the ring, and this guy is a guy that everybody's got their eyes on. TNA, I think, we're fortunate enough to scoop him up. And yeah, this guy is a dude who everyone's saying is like the next big thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yo, TNA Orlando, you good, yeah?
Yeah, this guy has the look. He has the character, the gear. I don't know. This guy's just got like that it factor, you know, that you can't teach. He's just got that stuff. So he's going to go far. You can just tell by this little bar some freak accident or ego that gets out of control, you know?
My name is...
Sorry, not to pause it again, but I've seen so little of Darius. Man like Darius. I think I'm saying that right. People corrected me last time. But just the little bits I've seen of him, it's like, yeah, he gets it and he has it.
My name is Man Like Darius.
Yeah, there we go.
And I am the lyrical dragon. And when I say 01, you say 2-1. 01! 2-1! 01! 2-1! 01! 2-1!
Then he gets glommed. Okay, so Chris Bey opens up about his recovery from injury in the video of him standing up from a wheelchair. I believe we have clips of his chat with Giga Chad Van Vliet as well. Encourage you guys to check it out, Insight with Chris Van Vliet. But anyways, he says it took a lot of therapy, a lot of mental will, a lot of days where I wasn't better than the day before, so it sucked. You know, timing, a lot of my walking ability or standing ability, and trying to make my walking look as natural as possible. So I had probably only been up on my feet without assistance for 3 weeks at that point when I posted the video. So those 3 weeks were mostly me trying to make it look as normal as possible and not too shaky, so that if I did decide to post it, I wouldn't be embarrassed. Dude, you got nothing to be embarrassed about. Chris Bey shares what he can remember. He says, I remember from the day being sore from Bound for Glory crazy match. Once the adrenaline wore off at BFG, I was feeling it. So when I walked in that next day, I was like, man, I hope I'm cutting a promo today. I said I did not feel like wrestling. As soon as I heard I was wrestling the Hardys, I was like, sweet, double-edged sword. Because you're wrestling the Hardys, but then physically you don't want to do it. Then I told myself, and I told Ace too, these guys used to do this 6 nights a week. We can do it. It's no big deal. The match was going good. We had a lot of time, which was different from the first time we met those guys, just team versus team. First time we didn't have a lot of time. This time we had more time. I'm in there with my best friend and 2 of my idols. It's a night off, essentially, and then a spot that you've done a million times up until this point goes wrong. As soon as it goes wrong, you don't notice what's wrong. You just know something isn't right. I felt a jolt. It was a neck breaker. We missed each other, Matt and I, by an inch. I felt a jolt, and I felt a little bit of discomfort. Referee Daniel Spencer comes over and checks on me. Chris, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I think so. Just roll me out of the way. Because I needed help rolling out of the way. I didn't realize how much help I needed. Austin said it didn't look like I needed a lot. It looked like I helped too. I just felt, yeah, well, I mean, it might not even all have not, you know, his shit might have not fully stopped working then either. That might have happened like regression, you know? Like you can hurt your back and then it doesn't, all of a sudden you wake up the next day and you're like, oh, like your whole body can't move, you know? So goddamn, just thank God it wasn't worse, you know? But yeah, he's saying he was numb. It was a weird feeling. He's yelling at the ref now, telling Jeff not to do the swanton. You know, they're like, are you all right? He's yelling. Yeah, just scary, scary stuff. A very scary PWT here on Saturday, right? But I'm just glad he's okay. He's like, I'm laying there. The doctor asked me if I can wiggle my toes. Once he asked me that, I can't feel my toes. I realized, okay, this is serious. Just scary stuff, man. But then he shares the light at the end of the tunnel here. He shares something CM Punk, the cancer Phil here, what he shared with him. He says, Chris Bey said this is what CM Punk said to him. So Chris Bey told CVV, what made me not quit was I was alive. And when I got that diagnosis, 10 to 25% chance of walking again for maybe 24 to 48 hours. I was a little messed up about it. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. And I was telling myself it's better than 0% chance, but I was still doubting a little bit. But then I had a conversation with Punk, and it was a very simple conversation where he said something along the lines of, I think that diagnosis is that percent applies to humans and you're not human. And I had to put my whole life into perspective. I had less percent chance of becoming a pro wrestler. Like, think about Punk. One of the GOATs, man, he just goes, dude, that applies to humans. You're not a human. And then the dude walks again. That is going to be in that dude's movie one day. Powerful from Punk, man. You got to love that. But he's a cancer, bro. Someone's cutting onions over here.
Emotional damage.
That's amazing. So Chavo Guerrero. Ooh, Chavo. He showed up on TNA. And he takes a shot at Dominik Mysterio. So hopefully he just like whipped this out of his ass and it's going to result in a TNA match. Chavito versus Dom, dude. That'd be amazing.
Well, the verdict is still out on Dominik. We're not sure if he's a Guerrero yet. We're waiting to find out. His mom did get around. And Eddie was damn good looking.
Okay, what the... You know what? I'm sick. That's pretty crazy. Here's Chris Bey actually saying it to Giga Chad Van Vliet. Shout him out. I know I read it, but here's him speaking it from his own lips over to CVV, what CM Punk told him.
The day I woke up from surgery, the first thing I thought was I'm alive. I was grateful to be alive. Because if I wasn't supposed to be here anymore, I wouldn't have been. So once I woke up, one of the first things I kept saying was day one. And it's people use that phrase before. It's not I didn't create the phrase day one. For me, it just meant this is day one as far as my new life, my new obstacle, my new journey. Everything, I break everything up into seasons in life. The season that I chased this, the season that I pursued this, and this was a new season for me. So what made me not quit was I was alive. And when I got that diagnosis, for maybe 24 to 48 hours, I was a little messed up about it. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it.
Shout out Chris Bey. Everyone go follow him. Go donate to his, they have a donate link for Pray for Bey. And shout out Giga Chad Van Vliet and Insight.
And I was telling myself,
and TNA Wrestling and CM Punk.
It's better than 0% chance. But I still was doubting a little bit. But then I had a conversation with Punk, and it was a very simple conversation where he said something along the lines of, I think that diagnosis and that percentage applies to humans and you're not human.
Huh.
And I had to put my whole life into perspective. I've had a less percent chance of becoming a professional wrestler and landing on TV. You know, I've had a lot less odds with everything that I've done in my life up until this point. So who's to say I can't beat this one?
Hell yeah, dude. That's gangster. That's like Bruce Lee too. He got his back broke and they're like, you ain't gonna walk. And then he just started walking again. So these boots are made for walking. So here is Joe Hendry. Say his name and he appears in PUBG Mobile. This game's huge. Like globally, this is one of the #1 games in the world. And Joe Hendry's a character in it. This is massive for just like a TNA wrestler. You know what I mean? This is huge. Yeah. Shout out Joe Hendry.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Just the amount of people that just heard that jingle too and are like, what the is that? That's insane, man. Good for him, dude. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was TNA news. Can I get a banjo?